Good afternoon, everyone. Lisa Ware, Senior Group Leader. Today, we're going to hit upon a subject which I think is going to be very relevant for many, many people. It's a slight turn away from where we've been, but it also has effect. And it's all about managing time. All right. And I believe managing time is a massive, massive thing. So listen, the that are on here, I'd love you to participate. Have a sheet of paper to hand and do this with me. All right, because all of you are going to have a slightly different result for yourself, but I think it would be really, really good. So this morning we turned into July. Who would believe we've gone into the second half of this year? Does anyone else feel that it's gone really, really fast? Because I know I do. It's like lightning. And the funny thing is that that you hear this, that the older you get, the faster time seems to go. Yeah. So what have you got planned for the next 6 months? What have you individually write it down. What things, what goals have you got planned for the next 6 months? Have you got any holidays booked? Have you got any things like you're going to visit people? Are you going to start a course? You're going to be doing something. Earlier on this year, Gail Bannister took up on a photography course for it was about 6 months, I think, that she did. Have you got anything like that planned? All right. Now, there's a good reason I'm asking you to do this. All right, because um, I believe we spend more time planning holidays and things like that than we do anything else. Now, I'm going to share with you that Sunday night, round about something like midnight, I was kind of reacting to an email that had come in from the Bournemouth Pavilion. It's one of our local big complexes. And it was offering me the chance to buy one, get one free for the December Jan Panto. Now, why am I relaying this to you? Because you think, flipping heck, come on, Lisa, don't want to think about Christmas. Well, I tell you what, the last 6 months has gone that fast that the last Panto felt like almost yesterday. And before I know it, it'll be the next 6 months. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't know how people afford the Panto because our tickets, and remember, this isn't London, adults 38.50 and children, under 16, not 16, under 16, £33.50. So they, in their wisdom, have decided that 16, 17 is actually adult. That's interesting. I thought you couldn't vote till you were 18. I thought you couldn't drink till you were 18. I thought adult was 18. Isn't that fascinating how these companies make it up? Now, why am I telling you this? Because it was a saving. And still, for three adults, two children, that was £154. And that was with buy one, get one free. So I wasted, if you want to call it that, designed, planned, all in all, I must have spent a good hour and a half of my time. But I want to explain to you that I was doing it actually at midnight because that is definitely not rainmaker time. Time when I could be active on my business in some form or another. So I'm now going to ask you as well, have you got any holidays booked? If you have, I want you to put down how many holidays and how many days that takes up. Now, I'm also going to say to you, whatever the holiday is, even if it was a long weekend away, I know that the day before, you have to set time aside, don't you, for doing stuff for it? Because there's all sorts of stuff you have to do, all right? And listen, we all need holidays. I actually do believe we actually do need them to recharge our batteries, both mentally, physically, and everything. Now, do this with me. Write on your piece of paper 168 hours. That is the number of hours in a week. We've all got those. Nobody has any extras, I promise you. All right. Now for you, I want you to write down the number of hours you sleep, including that the amount of time it takes you to get up, get ready, etc. Now, it should only take moments to strip off and get into bed, but you know what I mean, don't you? Now, for me, most people will say 7 or 8. Now, for me, the truth is this. I should have been Maggie Thatcher. I only need maximum 5 hours a night. It's always set me at an advantage. So when the rest of the world, like my daughter and my husband, can fall asleep on a clothesline, I believe he needs sleep like it's going out of fashion. I don't, so I've got more time to use for things. Okay, so I want you to put that sleep time down, and I want you to put sleep at the side of the 168 hours and put your number of hours. Then I want you to put in there, if it's applicable to you, the hours that are assigned to maybe what's called a job. You might have 1, 2, 3, I don't know, job. And obviously there's traveling to and from. There may not be. Your job may have you working remotely from home, in which case you haven't got that. All right. Then I want you to put in meal time. Now, look, I've already done this for you. I've thought it out. Look, I would say if you allowed 12 hours out of your week, that allows for more than an hour every night for dinner, about an hour and a half. It also allows for half an hour or more in the mornings for breakfast and half an hour for lunch. And for most people, lunch is often on the hoof anyway. But I've said put down meal times 12 hours. Now, if you're spending 3 hours over your dinner, well, that's your prerogative, but you have to say to yourself, if you're trying to change your life for the better and create a life of meaning, the sad part about all of this world is unfortunately money what rules. Money is what is we exchange to pay those rotten bills. That when the bills are paid, we're then free from those constraints. But unfortunately, it is money. Okay, so there you go. Put down that as well. Now, what about gym? Go to the gym or maybe do some exercise. Okay, put that in. And then church, and I'm going to put / clubs, communities, social things. And then there is another one. Put all your hours down. Do this. Put all your hours down. And there is one more, which can be an essential. And I'm in this bracket too. And I call it caring. And it may be caring for children. It could be caring for elderly parents. You may be almost in the role of a care worker. Now, I care a few times a week now. So I wipe out entirely about 5 hours on a Monday up till about 1:30. It's called Roo time. It's my youngest grandson. All right. And I love every moment of it. I have other care time, and it's my mum, who's very elderly, got dementia, and at this moment, very, very incapacitated. And we've now found out needs a hip replacement amongst all the other problems she has. So I've got lots of that. Now, what I want you to do is add up all those amounts, right? And then what that figure comes to, then take that total figure away from 168 hours. And then it's going to tell you what time you have available in your week. And it would be really interesting. I'm going to unmute you all that are here, because whoever's watching this, the recording, all right, I'm going to ask you all to unmute, if you will, all right. And I'd like to know from each of you, So let's ask, first of all, if you could unmute yourselves. So, Roz, how many hours free do you have in your week after everything put in?
I tend to have 80 hours.
80 hours. Lovely. Okay.
Mm.
Let's ask Lindsay.
Some something like about 20 hours, still working out, but at least 20 hours.
20. Wonderful. Val, Steve, can you unmute yourselves so that you can answer? There's somebody called Paul M. I can't see him. He's hiding.
Yeah. Hi, Lisa. That's Paul Maddock from
Hello,
Devon.
Paul. How many hours is yours?
41, which is more than I thought it would be.
Ah, it normally is more than you think. What about Val and Steve?
What did you say? You got
60.
oh,
Six zero.
I got 56.
60 hours.
And 56 for Val. So that's Steve.
Yeah.
Val. Because there's two of you at this. So in fact, you've actually got, oh, you got 116, haven't you? Actually, between you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Alan, what's yours?
60.
How many?
60.
60. Wonderful. Okay. Right. And I'm going to now tell you mine. All right. Because it's all worth noting. Mine is actually 55. Okay. Right. The only person that has the very least time is Lindsay with 20. Okay. Do you know officially what part-time? Oh, there's somebody called Caroline. I don't know who she is, but she's not showing her face. Caroline, have you done this? How many hours have you got?
33.
33. Thank you so much. Super. Right. So we've got a broad range from 20 up to 80. And then we've also got Stephen Val. Because there's two of them in this, they've actually got even more between them. Okay. All right. So a lot of hours. I would even say to you 20 hours is a lot because do you know that officially part-time it starts from 16 hours? Do you know that? 16 hours?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually all of us have got at least the number of hours for a part-time job. A lot of us have got more than 40 hours, and I believe the average is 37 and a half these days. All of us have got, lots of us have got enough hours for a full-time job. So it's the rhetorical question you've got to ask yourself. What are you doing with those hours? Is it productive? Is it what you want to achieve? Is your life the way you would like it? Now, I'm going to read you something magnificent. It's from a very small little book by Jim Rohn, all about, and I'm going to read you this because it's powerful. I've often said that the major reason for setting a goal is for what it makes you do to accomplish. This will always be a far greater value than what you get. That is why goals are so powerful. They are part of the fabric that make up our lives. So you need, if you haven't got a goal, it's like booking a holiday and not knowing where you want to go on holiday. Let's give you that. It's such an easy analogy. Imagine saying, oh, yes, I want a holiday in the sun. Well, do you know what? I believe there's something like about 100 countries that can apply there. Now, imagine if you don't know exactly where you're going, you could be a ship without a rudder going round the globe for a very long time and you'll never get to your destination. So you have to be specific. And do you know what? When it comes to holidays, we are. We have a very good idea what we want. We often know what we want to do. So here we are. I accomplished a holiday goal this year. For donkey's years, I've been saying, do you know, I'd love to go to Guernsey. It's always been there in the back of my mind. I'd love to go to Guernsey. Been to Jersey 3 times. Oh, really nice. Then all of a sudden, at the beginning of this year, I said to Juan, flipping heck, why do I keep saying I want to go to Guernsey? Why don't I sort it? And then off I went on my planning. Now, hear the word. Off I went on my planning. I actually had to plan it all. So the plans were quite big. It was like, how are we going to get there? Are we going to fly? Are we going to go by boat? Yeah. How long do we want to go for? Where do we want to stay? Do we want to go 5-star? Do we want to go less star? Do we want to do glamping? There was all sorts of possibilities. It was enormous. And actually, there was an awful lot. But actually, me being the decisive person I am, had one being like, he can't make a decision. He finds it very, very hard. All right. That was whittled down very quickly. It was like, well, there's only one option for me, because for me, for holiday, I don't want to make beds. I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean. I want to rest. So there was only 4-star or 5-star. Now, I didn't want to be constricted by meals. And 5-star can often be that. Yeah. So we swiped out 5-star. So then it's right. Then I'm looking for the right place. Now that's simple, because do you know what? You can type into Google hotels 4 stars. You can do it in hotels.com. You can do it all sorts in Guernsey. And all of a sudden it all comes out. Now, all this takes time. And I'm going to say to you, amongst the many other decisions, I reckon could have spent in total, about 6 hours on that over a few days. 6 hours. Then, of course, it was the booking. Now, that was interesting. That took some time, because the Brittany Ferry site was a very interesting site that failed miserably. So I wasted 2 hours on that one and ended up making a phone call. Okay. And that was about another hour and a half in total. And then we decided we would take the car, we'd load up with the e-bikes, and we would do walking and cycling, and we would keep our options open for dinner. We would just be a bit spontaneous. Now, all of it was a lot of hours research. If you actually thought about it all, do you know what? I reckon could have spent in total something like possibly about 24 hours. Quite a lot. I'm going to ask you, do you spend 24 hours thinking about how you're going to plan your business to make your life better? I bet lots of people don't plan anything. I'm going to read a little bit more from Jim. Goal setting provides focus, shapes our dreams, and gives us the ability to home in on exact actions we need to take in order to get everything in life we desire. Goals are exciting because they provide focus and aim for our lives. Goals cause us to stretch and grow in ways we never would have done before. And in order to reach our goals, we must become better. We must change and grow. Right. That is a very simplified version of that. So, do you have a diary? Or are you a bit hit and miss? No, I mean, some of you might be, gee, mad. Do I have a diary? Of course I've got a diary. I tell you what, I have people join this, they haven't even got a diary. Okay. So what do you think you need to do to make this achievable? Well, first of all, I tell you what, if there's work, oh, that's a bit restrictive, isn't it? You've got to put that in there. You've got to block out the time. Do it. Then you've got to put in there this other stuff, this social, eating, chores, shopping, that stuff. Maybe church, maybe communities. You've got to put all this in. All of that's got to go in. And then what will happen? It will leave you with blocks of time. Now, I'll tell you what, I am absolutely sure that everybody has got a few blocks of time in each day. Okay. That's your UW time. Now, if you don't do something like that, you are that ship without a rudder. Because if you don't know when you're available, you can do the other thing, which some people do, which is they'll say yes to an appointment with somebody when really it's not a yes, because it's infringing on their personal time. And I tell you what, that makes your business, you can become very resentful. and that's not good. All right. So this apportioning and planning is essential. And the interesting thing is that I have noticed in my teams, people that are very much planners and sort this stuff out are, interestingly enough, the ones that achieve the most. Isn't that fascinating? Yeah. They're the ones that truly achieve the most. Because when you know what your available time is, you can then say, right, I'm going to apportion that time to do this. I'm going to say my booking time of doing actual appointments is this. All right. And that way, you then are feeling more in control, not out of control. And that's a good feeling. That makes you a bit more confident, like, well, I know what I've got, and that's it. Can I tell you, the people that get appointments that don't usually fall apart are the ones that don't just say yes, 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 yes. They're available at any time. They are people that are maybe looking after 4 children, and I've got them. I've got Denny Burke, TL, bless her, 4 kids. We've got a baby, we've got a toddler, and we've got 2 under 7s, and a husband. That's being busy, and she works too, but she finds time. And the reason is, when her time is available, when she's booking an appointment, she's telling the prospect, my availability is this. Now, I'll tell you what happens when you do that. The funny thing is, when you show how busy you are, they are more respectful of your time and they don't mess you about. Believe me, if you are finding childcare and they realise that doesn't come cheap and it causes lots of extra work, my God, they are pretty nasty folk if they let you down, aren't they? Yeah. So all of a sudden, what I'm kind of reiterating here is actually being decisive, planning, portioning your time is actually beneficial psychologically in this business, not just to you, but to your prospects. So when I'm, say, on a 20K or I get a referral come in, and can I say one of the downsides of being, excuse this loosely term, sales, all right, sales that we're in, yeah. When somebody decides they want something, do you know what? They do your head in because they want it yesterday. Have you found that? Oh, yes, it's all about them. Me, 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 me. Is that true? It absolutely is true. Whereas if you show them that you are a busy person and your availability is, and you give them, do you remember the alternative close? You give them options because options makes them feel they've got some power. What you're doing is giving them the alternative close of availability to you. But it also says psychologically underneath, they will respect you more. Can I just say, I had an extension done and I waited 3 years for the right builder because he's so busy that he wasn't available before, but I didn't want anybody else. And it showed me he was worthwhile to have. Is that a good analogy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you kind of like, oh, I can do it anytime, and I've heard people say that, please don't say that. That's not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for them. And I tell you what, they'll mess you around. Okay. So vital is you do this stuff. Now, there are things to help you, and I'm going to share my screen now. Right, we're on my partner portal. Ours all looks very similar. Okay.
What's that small?
Okay. So, can you see the screen? Partner portal, free energy club, all of that. Marvelous. By the way, I've already got one. I've done this. I've done my all right. That happened this morning at 9 o'clock. Yeah. So here we go. Let's do this. Let's go to learning and training. And then you're going to go to your A to Z. And you're going to go to G. Goal getting. It's the bottom one. And there's lots of super stuff here that is really worth listening to. There is a gentleman in the business who is a senior group leader, and I can't think of anyone more knowledgeable than senior group leader Chris Williams. And it's so worth listening to his podcast. Set the time aside. Please don't do it in the day. Do it in the evening. Say to you, put it in your diary. I'm going to listen for 11 minutes, 35 seconds to a podcast. Put it down. And if you're really good, you could multi-skill. If you go out walking like I do, it's when I listen to personal development. I listen to podcasts as I'm walking. So not only am I doing my exercise, I'm actually doing some learning. It's a good way of fitting stuff in. Maybe you have a commute to work. What a great time to stick a podcast on. Yeah. There's other things here too. Managing our time. Look at this. Go now. And there's more stuff. The power of consistency. A 10-minute 41 there. Make the most of your time. Proven strategies to help you fit your UW business into your busy life. It's 10 minutes 17. These are nice little bite-sized chunks, aren't they? Do you know what, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm cooking their dinner sometimes, because it's kind of dead time, I put on a podcast sometimes and I listen. I listen to Wes Linden's podcasts, often when I'm preparing food, because while I'm doing that, I can listen. That's a given. This stuff is so available. Here's something else you want to know about. I'll stop the share. Here's a fantastic book. It's called The Consistency Chain for Network Marketing. It's by George Campbell and Jim Packard. It's available on podcast. You can listen to it, or Audible as well. In fact, do you know what? There's so much good stuff out there. You can type most things into YouTube and they'll come up. You can listen to stuff all the time. I have an absolute firm favourite, and his name is Neil Oliver. And for years, we knew him as the Coast guy. I used to watch Coast. I loved it. But he works for GB News. He's a really very, very knowledgeable person. And I get all his stuff. And I listen to him when I'm getting ready. So he goes on when I go in the shower. My phone is at the end and I can hear. I've got it, my Bose speaker thing. He carries on as I'm getting ready and all my bits and bobs. And I've managed to find about 40 minutes that you could say 40 minutes I didn't have, but I did have it. It was while I was doing something else. So I'm kind of giving you ideas how to fit this in, because you need specific time for appointments. All right. And appointments are what can give us results. And I'm sorry to say this, ladies and gentlemen, but we are actually only paid on results. I know that's not sometimes doesn't seem fair, but it's the truth. So we can do stuff and sometimes we don't get results. And I'm very mindful that in the periods of what I call absence, and I'm on about when I don't see customers coming on, I am mindful that many of you are doing, all right? And I take that on board. But if you aren't doing regularly and consistently, you won't get confident, because you won't have the competence to get the confidence. And I say this, people buy the confidence. So when I am with somebody, be it on a screen or in person, do you know what? They can see I have 100% belief in what I'm doing. And the only reason it's so strong is because, a bit like, do you remember I talk about the stool? If your stool had 3 legs and those legs were beliefs, if somebody comes in with a curveball or something and knocks one, you would topple over. but my stool is probably made up of maybe hundreds and hundreds of beliefs. So if somebody knocks something at me, it doesn't knock me over. My confidence is there, and I'm assured because I do things consistently. All right. And I can share with you, we have a senior group leader WhatsApp chat. It's all about helping each other. And it's a fascinating chat because you probably think all senior group leaders are full of confidence. No, they're not. Of course they're not. We're human. We've got feelings. All right. And humans with feelings means that we can have our feelings dented sometimes. And do you know what can dent the feelings of confidence? They go off on holiday for 2 weeks. You come back and you think, oh, clean slate, clean sheet of paper. Do you remember that at school? You had to write an essay and you had a clean sheet. Wasn't it hard to start? This is the same. If you aren't doing something regularly, it's like having that clean sheet of paper. And often they're asking questions of the rest of us because they've forgotten this, they've forgotten that. And that's just normal. So you've kind of got to do the do and do it a little bit consistently. And there's a good phrase in the business, touch your business every day. Even if it is to listen to a 10-minute podcast. But the Rainmaker activity, and it will never be any different, is making calls to prospects. It's, well, it's sitting or presenting, isn't it? It's presenting. That's what it is. You've got to do the basics in order for results to come. Now, let me tell you just something last. If you're not, could you please stop talking if you're not, because you're not muted. So last week I got a phone call on the Saturday. No, the week before I got a phone call on the Saturday from one of my team and said, "What are you doing next Saturday, Lisa?" She didn't put that can't be put off. And I happened to say, well, actually, there's nothing in the diary. She said, bit last minute, would you like to do a 20K? There's a guy come round, and to cut it short for you, I kind of worked the magic. I got in touch with the guy on the Sunday. I found out all the stuff, and we did a 20K on the Saturday, just gone. What was that? 3 days ago. All right. It was a very hot day. In fact, when I switched my car on next to it, the outside temperature was registering 34 and there was no wind. Believe me, we were all dripping. And there were 4 of us, but we all got appointments. And my very first appointment was last night. And I'm sharing this with you because I'm going to say to you, would you do this? This person was 40, this couple were 47 miles away. They lived in a place called West End in Eastleigh. And I live, of all the 4 of us, I live the furthest. I'm right over here in deep Dorset. But I decided to go face to face was really important. And I'm going to say to you, I spent 2.5 hours, but I'll share with you what came out of it. They're switching their broadband, which is Ultra Plus, because we have no fibre to the premises there. They've got Ultra equivalent with Sky at the moment, but they're happy to say bye. They switching 5 unlimited mobiles. We could only do 4. That's what the system is set up for. And then once they're going, we can add another one on. Gas and electricity. Boiler and home cover, homeowners. So 5 services, but actually it was more than that, wasn't it? Because it was a load of mobiles. Right, why was I there 2.5 hours? Every single mobile I made sure was unlocked. Every single mobile, we got the pack codes. I got them to download the app on their phones. I got them to go to their emails and verify the email. I went to their meters and took photographs to cover myself because I don't want to go back 47 miles. So I did everything. And the lady is going to be a partner. So that was, in my opinion, humble opinion, 100% success. In fact, I don't think it gets any better than that. But then today, guess what happened? Today, he finds out that 2 of the mobiles are so much money that they can't come out. So thankfully, it was early enough that I rung up and I've cancelled 2 of them. So we've got 3 broadband, gas, electric, and the boiler and home cover. And I've saved them £1,211 a year. Lots of money, really pleased. And now I was explaining to them with absolute conviction, look, even if you only give over, let's say 2-3 hours a month and help a homeowner with 4 services, that will only £300. But then if you do it regularly, within 3 months, you'll get 150 credit on your bill, the free energy club. And then if you carry on in time, you'll get free energy. It's worth £150 a month. So that one homeowner is worth £450 for a couple of hours work. Would you say that that was good money? I would.
Yeah.
Would you say that's worth setting a few goals for, planning your time and doing? Because if everyone in my team just did one good quality customer a month, do you know what? You'd all be laughing to the bank. So forget about tidying your desk. By the way, if I could turn the camera and show you my desk, you'd go, what, Lisa? What a mess. Because that doesn't earn me any money. So hopefully, I hope that was helpful. Okay. Yeah. And the people that watch the recording, I hope they'll follow through and do that hour thing, because do you know what? It's concentrating our time and effort, because if we want to get somewhere in life, if there's things we want, I don't know what you want, but if there is, I'm sorry to say this, but it's money, the freedom of not having to worry about money, that will allow you to do that. And when the money's coming in and you haven't got to bother, you've now got what they call time freedom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll call it a day because we've gone over. See you same time, same place next week.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lisa. Bye.